Carry on my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more.
Welcome to another episode of Action Video Game Talk. I'm your host, Scott Action Jackson. Thanks for joining me today or tonight or whenever you're watching or listening to this episode. We have another list of news articles to go through, so let's just hop right into them. This holiday season, Nintendo is widening its selection of Nintendo 2DS systems. The new Crystal Red and Crystal Blue 2DS offers clear, neon-colored variations on the company's hallmark portable system. As you can see from the image, the see-through 2DS harken back to the nostalgic days of the clear Game Boy Pocket and Game Boy Color. Their color scheme also happens to match that of the Pokemon Omega Ruby and Pokemon Alpha Sapphire, which launch on the same date as the systems. The transparent blue and red 2DS models were previously announced for a Europe launch only. In Europe, the systems can be purchased as bundles with Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, which are remakes of the 2002 Game Boy Advance titles Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. The Crystal Red and Crystal Blue Nintendo 2DS systems will be available starting November 21st for $99.99 each. It is nice that we are actually getting these clear 2DSs here in the US, even though it probably would have been a little bit more cooler to see like a clear 3DS XL. Now apparently over in Europe these are going to be released as a bundle with the Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire games. But here in the US, we're just getting the bare systems, which Nintendo has unfortunately been doing over and over again. So once again, it's stuff that Europe gets, but we get shafted. And these are going to be released on apparently November 21st. The Pokemon remake games are coming out the same date. I thought they were coming out on November 23rd, the same day as Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U. But yeah, this will be a nice little extra selection option for 2DSs if you want to get those. Considering that they're going to be remaking the 3DS next year, it's kind of pointless. In a post on the Miiverse, Zelda series producer and Majora's Mask original director shared some details about the upcoming remake. He writes, "The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D was actually in development almost immediately after they finished working on The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3DS, which was released in June 2011. He detailed in a very ambitious way some of the changes that will be coming to the game for its re-release. We didn't want to say it was being developed until we were at a point where we could proudly say that this is not going to be just another remake, that it's going to be worth your time," he writes. He follows up with more, saying, "We spent a lot of time making sure the gameplay experience is smoother than in the original version without taking away from this unique world. I hope those that haven't played the original game, and those of you that played it but gave up midway through, will take this opportunity to give the new version a try." He finally ends with, "When it's closer to the release date, I'll talk more about what has been changed in the Nintendo 3DS version, and its new features right here in this Miiverse community, so stay tuned." So work has begun on the Majora's Mask 3DS since 2011, just after they completed the Ocarina of Time and released it. So why did it take them so long to actually announce it? Now I know I am never going to be a huge fan of this game, Majora's Mask. I gave it a try on the Nintendo 64, didn't like it. But for those out there who have been bugging Nintendo constantly about making Majora's Mask, they should have said something. I mean, they did teases throughout the multiple Legend of Zelda games that they released after the Ocarina of Time. Little teases like including the actual Majora's Mask in the background of a store shelf or something. But it says right here that when it gets closer to the release date, they'll be talking more about the changes in the Nintendo 3DS version. So it's supposed to be coming out, what was it, spring 2015. So it could be like February, March area. it said that Eiji Uniyama, if that's the correct name of the guy, he'll be posting it on the Miiverse. In which case, it'll probably be relayed through like other gaming websites like IGN or Game Informer. A short video of Halo 5 Guardians gameplay leaked showing a new feature. Players will be able to sprint in the game, which is slated for 2015. Some of the features in the video were confirmed on Twitter by 343 Industries studio head for Halo 5 Josh Holmes, and retweeted by Bonnie Ross, founder and head of 343. It appears to be implemented differently than in Halo 4 also. No penalty to hipfire in H5. No movement penalty when scoping, zooming, no flinch, Holmes writes. Tune in for the beta gameplay reveal at #HaloFest Monday. He later confirmed that the feature called descoping will be returning to Halo 5. This means that when looking through a scoped or zoom in, getting hit returns the players to normal view. The video also shows a new implementation for zooming in with weapons. So, sprinting in Halo 5. Don't they already have this in the Halo series? It's called running. You run. It's in the game. It's called running. Unless, of course, it's like an additional add-on to the running. And then there's this descoping, which means when zoomed in on a scope, you normally get returned. Yeah, you do get returned to the normal point of view when you get hit, which you can kind of expect. I mean, in most shooting games, if you're looking down a scope when you're zooming in on like a sniper rifle and you get hit, it's like, ah, what the f. A trademark for the classic rare franchise Battletoads has appeared in the United States Patent and Trademark Database. According to the site, Microsoft filed for the trademark on November 5, 2014. We compared this filing to other Microsoft game trademarks and noticed no significant discrepancies. The attorney attached to the filing, Grace Han Stanton, is an intellectual property lawyer in Washington. Battletoads was a short-lived franchise that started on the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1991, before being ported to other systems including the Sega Genesis and Nintendo Game Boy. 2 additional home titles on 8-bit and 16-bit systems, and an arcade game. For years, there has been prank calls to GameStops asking for Battletoads. Well, if this is any indication, we may finally see a new age Battletoads game. But that's if Microsoft actually does anything with it. Now, I know previously for, I think it was the newest Kinect Sports type game on the Xbox One, one of the pre-orders was an actual Battletoads themed costume or outfit. Now, Battletoads was a Rare franchise game, and technically Microsoft does own Rare, so it would make sense for them to try and make this game. Battletoads, the original Battletoads game does have a huge following. Most people remember that Battletoads did come out for the original Nintendo system, the NES, and then there was a couple of Super Nintendo games, one of which Battletoads teamed up with Double Dragon. And then I think they also had some arcade games too. But if they tried doing this now as, even if they do like a download-only game, but hopefully they would do a physical game as well, it'd be awesome. I mean, the Xbox One has been trying to do some remake to retro games lately, especially with the Killer Instinct game, and people going back and playing these older games that have been remade. Let's assume that Microsoft does go ahead and make a Battletoads game. If they do, it would be sweet if they have like a collector's edition that would include all of these older generation Battletoads games. From the Nintendo one to, I guess, the Sega Genesis one, Super Nintendo, even like an arcade versions that they had. I don't remember a Game Boy version of Battletoads. I'm gonna have to try and look that up. In its most recent weekly update, Bungie has some news for Destiny fans that should speed the upgrade process for high-end weapons and armor. the developer has been quietly working on some new tweaks to the experience. Among the short list of upcoming improvements, Bungie said it will be implementing new economies for players to earn materials more quickly. We'll soon have a way to preview weapons before purchasing and new shaders for gear. Some Crucible arenas will be getting tweaks for traffic purposes, and the Cryparch might soon find his heart growing a few sizes, if not so big, that he won't steal Christmas sometimes. Bungie also hints that the frequency of public events will increase soon. Considering how difficult it is to get materials to upgrade your weapons and armors, this is something a lot of us players have been looking forward to. I mean, making it easier to collect this stuff, that's great. Apparently the Crucible areas are going to be tweaked for traffic purposes, so probably less congestion as far as players trying to hop into all the matches and stuff. I don't know what this Cryparch might soon find his heart growing in a few sizes. I don't know if that means it'll be going down on prices on stuff, or if it means it'll be more giving for stuff. And the frequency of public events will increase soon. The frequency was supposed to go up for a while now, and it hasn't seemed that way. The ESRB has released its rating description for Resident Evil Revelations 2, and with it comes a nugget of information about the game's plot and playable characters. The description covers the usual stuff you'd expect from a Resident Evil game. Hand cut off in slow motion, large blood splatter effects, exposed organs, and so on. But it's the first sentence that has Resident Evil fans theorizing. In this, an action-adventure game in which players assume the roles of an imprisoned woman and a father searching for his daughter on an island, reads the ESRB rating. From what we know about the game so far, the people being discussed here are Claire Redfield, Barry Burden, and his daughter Moya. Presumably, the part about a father searching for his daughter on an island has something to do with Barry. What's interesting here is the wording of players assume the roles of, which indicates Barry will be playable. As far as the imprisoned woman bit, that could relate to either Claire or Moya. It could be that partway through the game, his daughter gets kidnapped, and the game shifts to Barry's perspective to allow for a daring rescue. Then, after she's freed, she becomes the second character that follows Barry around. Or, of course, it could mean Claire gets kidnapped and Moya somehow runs into Barry. So we're going to be able to play as Barry Burden in an actual story game of Resident Evil. Now, I have heard that Barry Burden was in a Resident Evil Mercenaries game. I don't know if this was the actual Mercenaries that was on the 3DS, or if this was like the mercenary stuff from the Resident Evil 5 game. But with the original images that were shown for Resident Evil Revelations 2, it looked like you were going to be playing as Claire Redfield and Barry's daughter, Moya, if I got that name right. And of course, we know how grueling and detailed the ESRB is going to be on the rating as far as Resident Evil games, gory, bloody, stuff like that. But this will be a welcome addition to, not only be able to play as Barry, but maybe we'll find out what Barry has been up to for all these years. After the release of Far Cry 3, the game received a standalone expansion that went in a totally different direction. Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. Although Far Cry 4 comes out next week, according to the game's producer, we won't see another Blood Dragon spin-off for Far Cry 4. Speaking with IGN Australia, producer Alex Hitchinson said that a direct sequel wasn't going to happen, but he left the door open for possibly something different. No, the answer is no. You won't get another one of those, he said in response to a fan's question. But hopefully we'll be able to come up with something that surprises you just as much. Because if we did another one, then they'd be on my Twitter saying, "Are you going to be having Blood Dragon every year? You're just in a factory churning things out?" Now, with as much fun as Dragon Blood was for a Far Cry 3 standalone, I don't think they would probably want to try to do a sequel. I mean, the technology on Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon and Far Cry 4 is amazing. But being able to maybe try to do some kind of sequel, like a Blood Dragon 2, I don't think they want to try and just do a copy and repeat like, say, Call of Duty does. They probably want to try some more original stuff, something classic, some classical gaming stuff, like they did with the Blood Dragon, just something a little bit different. What they're going to do, we don't know right now. Well, that's it for this episode of Action Video Game Talk. Once again, thanks for joining me today, or tonight, or whenever you're watching or listening to this episode. Later on, I'll have the separate clips up for the different news articles if you want to check those out. Down below, I'll have the link for the Facebook page if you want to check that out. So, until next time, bye!